We're going to look at combat scenario now and kind of go over some of the mechanics of conflict in Tolindia. Freelancers plays with a D10 system, so you're going to need a good stockpile of D10s for each player. Rolling a check is going to be rolling a number of D10s equal to the governing stat and the ranks in the skill. So you'll be rolling against a target value, trying to exceed that in a number of successes. On your D10, a 7 or higher is considered a success, and a natural 10 will allow you to roll an extra dice, meaning that you can chain successes.
And what is that mechanic called?
It's an exploding D10 system.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear you say exploding D10.
There you go. The other thing to know going into this is that every attempt, whether it's a success or a failure, is an opportunity for character growth. You're going to tally the number of attempts you've made in each skill as you attempt them, and your skills will progress once they've reached certain thresholds for the number of attempts in that skill. And that's how you will increase your skills in game, as opposed to in between contracts. Gotcha. There's other ways to level up afterwards.
Cool.
There are several different types of conflict in Tolindia. Personal combat is the one we're going to be taking a look at today, but there's also airship combat, subterfuge, which is sneaking around, chase conflicts, social conflicts, and environmental conflicts. It's also very possible for there to be hybrid conflicts where some members of your team might be trying to sneak around while another one is causing a distraction, maybe engaging in social or combat. Depending on what your guys' goal is, either increase or decrease the likelihood of success of the other part of the conflict. So it's got a very fluid conflict mechanic. Again, today we're going to be looking at combat specifically.
Joe's favorite.
Right, exactly. Up close. You'll see here I've set up kind of our demo scenarios. So you guys find yourselves in a alleyway in a warehouse district. You have found, I'm trying to remember your character's name. Novotso, you have found yourself on the rooftop with your rifle. Perfect sniper position. You're all ready. And you are being escorted by another freelancer on your team. That is Lorenzo. And he also has a bolt-action rifle as well. And there's a staircase up to the rooftop. Then Joe, you find yourself already engaged in combat with three of the dog men.
Naturally.
These are just hired swords, and they are trying to stop you from being where you want to be. You will also notice right next to you is the strong blood Ravamana. And she is almost as fierce in combat as you. You'll also see there are some rat men soldiers scattered around. Combat is really it takes place in a number of rounds. And the first thing to determine is the order of combat. There's no rolling for initiative. Instead, we go by agility value. So the player with the highest agility value, we would start with anyone who's agility 4. If there's any agility 4 characters. Sometimes there are.
Right.
Not this time.
This time?
Agility 3s?
Yes.
Okay. So we have an agility 3 character. You will get to take your actions first. I believe you're agility 2?
2.
Okay.
I honestly think that I am so amazing with my rifle that I should just fire, reload, and fire.
Yeah, so that's absolutely that's a good option.
And we get 3 actions.
So you get 3 actions in combat. A maximum of 2 of them may be used for movement actions.
So I have a dexterity of 4 and a marksmanship of 3.
So you're going to take your dexterity, add your marksmanship, and that'll tell you how many dice you roll.
Well, that's 7. That's all these dice.
Yeah. So you're rolling against your opponent. So you're going to want to determine what your target is.
That the farthest rat person that's out. They're the bad guys, right?
So him here?
Yes.
Now, the other thing is to keep in mind is movement is much more fluid in the system than in things like Dungeons and Dragons. Instead of having squares that represent 5 feet at a time, you move into new areas. And as long as you're firing outside of your area, you're good. But you could not fire at someone inside your area. So just so you know, if someone were to be up on the rooftop with you, you couldn't target them. But you could target someone else freely.
Okay.
You're not locked into combat there. That being said, for you to disengage out of combat, you would have to make a check or else take extra damage from them all striking at you. So if you want to make your dice roll, you're trying to get a number of successes, which is a 7 or higher, higher than his defense value, which you don't know.
All right. Should have got a dice tray out, but... All right. It's number of successes. 1, 2, 3.
And 3 is enough for a hit. So you'll deal your weapons damage rating.
Which is 7.
Okay. And then you will add 1 damage for every success over his defense rating, which is 2. So you will do 8 damage. Now, this character has a threat rating of 5, making him defense of 2. So, and having a health of 5. So he's dead. So you've killed one. Combat can certainly be brutal, but when you put yourself in an advantageous position, you can make short work of it.
Then I will reload, and then I will is there any disadvantage for targeting in melee?
Okay, targeting into melee? No. Sorry, I thought you were going to say through a window into the warehouse.
I just see a lot of people around Joe, and that concerns me a little bit.
Correct. No, there's no disadvantage to firing at those people and helping her pick those off.
Then I will swing my rifle around and shoot that way as well.
All right, shoot one of the dogmen.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh, that's terrible. 2 successes out of 7.
All right, so 2 successes is enough to partially succeed. That means that you will wing them, dealing 1 damage maximum.
All right.
And minimum. So you clipped someone's ear or shoulder doing minimal damage.
Maybe it's enough to distract him.
Exactly. We'll see. So with your 3 actions taken, all the other agility 3 characters would go. Lorenzo here will step here, and ready his sword. So he'll be ready to attack that rat. After the agility 3 characters would go, the agility 3 NPCs would go, followed by the agility 2 characters get to go. So that would be you, Joe.
Yeah, so Joe is gonna swing her mace at whichever one got clipped. She noticed that they became a little bit distracted and she wants to take advantage of that. Let's say it's just the one to her very left.
Okay, yeah.
So she's gonna take a swing. Which skill do I
So that would be your prowess
Okay.
plus your strength.
Great. So that is also, she has strength 4 and prowess 3, so that is also using 7 dice.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 4 successes.
All right. Well, 4 successes, as we know, is enough to hit him.
Okay.
And your damage rating, I believe you said, was 8.
8.
Plus 2, because you've surpassed his defense by 2.
Yep.
So you did 10 damage to him and his 4 remaining health. He's very dead.
Plus the, or
so
the 1?
Yeah, so he had the 1. So he normally had 5, so he's down to 4, and he's very much dead. And you have 2 actions left.
Oh, right, yeah.
Keeping in mind that your unwieldy weapon is at disadvantage if you swing at another target now.
So what does disadvantage look like?
It means that instead of succeeding on a 7 or higher, you would now need an 8 or higher to succeed.
I mean, for the purposes of storytelling, I think this is the first fight they've had in a few months. So she's just, again, she's restless. She's not going to wait to use her action to focus. She is going to she swung, and then she's going to use her backswing to hit this one in the middle.
So yeah, you got to roll all those dice again. And now 8s.
Or 10s.
Or 10s. That's the other thing. If you roll any 10s, make sure you
Oh, yes. 1 10.
All right.
And then 1 9, so that's 1 success. So then I'll re-roll.
So you roll 1 additional dice, yeah.
Okay. Because those were my only successes, so let's see. Oh, 6.
Oh,
no,
okay.
so
only 2. That is enough to wing him. So you will still do 1 damage to one of the other guys.
Yeah. So this one. But then I still have like.
You still have 1 more action. Now you can make another attack action, which would be is still at disadvantage because it's a 3rd one in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could use this opportunity to focus, or
because if I attacked again, even though it's like a new round, it would still be like in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that realizing that because she didn't steady herself, all she got was a nick, she kind of decides to steel herself and focus. So she.
All right. So you can keep in mind that focus will give you 1 automatic success on your next attack.
Oh, nice.
As well as reset that unwieldy ability. So you're not going to be at disadvantage anymore.
Okay.
So, and also considering that you only need now 2 successes on 7 dice because of that 1 automatic success, they're going to be hurting. Now would be all of the agility 2 NPCs, which would be, in this case, all of the enemies. Ravamana's agility 1. Mm-hmm. So this is where they would come in, they would perform their attacks. These guys here camped out at a window, and they're going to each take pot shots at the Mish on the rooftops. So they're using their rifles. Right now, they have to get higher than your agility in successes.
Which is 3.
So they're only getting, with that roll, they're only getting 2 successes, which is not enough to even wing you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so one of the other actions you could do is take cover. So you could actually hide behind something, or on the rooftop, you're actually able to kind of like go prone or something like that to really take advantage of your positioning to increase your defense by 1, which is great against something like this, where they're not going to hurt you at all. The second shot is coming in at you. Need to keep the dice on the table. And this one did get 4 successes.
All right.
So it will do its damage rating, which is also 7, plus the 1 for surpassing your agility by 1. So that'll be 8 damage with piercing of 4.
And I just took 8 damage?
Yes.
2 left.
Oh, no.
That resolve's going to come in handy.
Yes. All right. So now we have the dogmen. Mm-hmm. One of them is going to start by attacking Joe. And he has a rapier ready. And he's swinging at you. He has 3 successes. So he's going to successfully hit you.
Okay.
Doing his strength plus 2.
So I should raise. I was noticing because I have my Highlander shield.
Yes.
I should have added to my defense number.
Yes.
There.
Oh, so yeah.
So
actually,
my defense is 3. Actually.
So you're right, because you have a defensive trait. So you will be winged, and you'll take 1 damage, which your armor will not ever negate. Mm-hmm. The winged will be a minimum of 1.
Okay.
However, your shield also gives you parry,
mm-hmm.
which means you can roll 1d10, and on a 8 through 10.
Okay.
So it's at disadvantage, but you make the 1 disadvantage dice roll, and if it's successful, you ignore all damage.
Okay, so I should do that now. Unfortunately, I only got a 4.
Okay, so you take the 1 damage.
The 1.
Seeing that, the other mutt here is going to swing at Ravamana, because for some reason that's less intimidating than Joe, the giant dragonkin, twice your height. Well, they managed to hit Ravamana, doing a decent 7 damage to Ravamana. I'm sorry, I only gave them 1 action each.
Mm-hmm.
So
even the ones that fired on me.
Yeah, even those ones. Wow, I'm a little bit behind on that. So anyways, yeah, so the guys on the windows are going to reload, and then they're going to take cover behind the window.
Gotcha.
The dogman, the one who attacked you, is going to then focus and attack again, trying to get that opening on you. All right, so that's 3 again. Okay. So he manages to wing you unless you can parry him. 8. All right, so you parry his... I
was prepared this time.
Yes, and actually he would have had 4 because I forgot the focus added an automatic success. So if you had not parried that, you would have taken full damage.
Oh, okay.
So you managed to parry it, and you take no damage. That's
Joe
better.
learned from the dog's first attack. Yeah.
The next guy is also going to focus and attack Ravamana again. Is going to actually hit Ravamana again, causing her to take a heroic injury, which is going to be a leg wound. So she will be reduced to only taking 1 movement action every round. She's back. She spends her 1 heroic action and is back up to full health now, ready to keep going. So it's now Ravamana's actions, and she's going to focus and attack. Just start that 1 massive blow on a guy, and not be able to roll higher than a 2 apparently. So she misses, and he's able to just sidestep her like it's nothing. Furious, she's going to attack again and squish him. So she manages to crush the one guy that was injured earlier.
Joe says, "Good job, Ravamana."
Yeah. That ends that 1 combat round. She has taken 3 actions. Everyone's done their stuff. It now goes back up to agility 4.
First is a reload.
Yes.
Because I last fired. So that's 1. And then I will fire.
Okay.
Let's do the dog man.
Okay. The guy in that same area.
Well, that's a 10.
Okay, so that's 1.
And this 7. And a 7.
All right, so that's 3. Nice. That's enough to hit him and do 7 damage. Then that's enough to drop him.
All right, and then I will take cover.
Okay, cool.
I've learned a little bit.
Having done your job.
I'll say Joe was slightly disappointed. He said, I had that one.
Right, I've been fighting him. All right, so Lorenzo here is going to... he has his 1 focus already. He's going to focus again and strike at this guy.
So he has 2
He has 2 automatic successes, which he needs, actually. He has not rolled a single success. And so he has 1 more dice. Nope, so that's nothing. He missed.
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. And he'll try focusing again, and then that'll be his turn. And we move on to Joe.
I think Joe, seeing that poor Lorenzo did not do anything. So first she'll have to move into that area. She'll take 1 action to move.
One of the actions you can take here is a charge.
Okay.
Which means it's a movement and an attack. It takes 2 actions to do, or 2 action points to do.
Okay.
But your attack will be at advantage. So a 6 or higher will be a success.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So she's going to charge... the enemy right there. And once again, rolling her.
Yeah.
And she had focus last time.
Yes. And now this guy can attempt to parry your attack.
Okay.
But using your giant bludgeoning weapon,
yes,
he's going to need to roll a 10.
Right.
To successfully parry.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so 2 successes. I only have the 2.
All right, so he's going to attempt...
Oh, wait, no, but... Oh, yeah, no.
6.
Oh, dang, I had some 5s.
Yeah.
So you get an auto success, right?
No, she didn't focus.
Ah, okay.
I don't have my focus from last round.
Oh, you do.
I do still have
because
that,
you
right?
focused last round.
Yeah.
So you do still have that focus. So that does make it 3 successes,
Yeah.
which is enough to kill him
Yes.
if he can't parry this.
Oh, right.
So he has to roll a 10. I'm going to roll that out here for everyone.
Yeah.
A 1. That is the opposite of a 10.
Yeah.
So, he's dead. And you have one action left.
She'll focus again.
Okay. Yeah, get ready to go through that window.
She'll do a long stare into the window.
This is a point where now they get to go, and they're a little scared. So they're going to do the first guy here. He's all reloaded. He's going to do 2 focus actions and take 1 shot at you. And the other one's going to take 2 and take 1 shot at you, because this is a scary position to be in. So this first shot is going against you, and he does in fact hit you, doing 7. You do not get your defensive bonus from your shield.
Oh, okay.
Because this is not a melee combat.
Okay.
So you're going to be at defense 2.
Right.
So he hit you doing 9 damage.
Oh, okay. So now I've hit 0.
Okay. So you've hit 0, so you need to roll a d10.
Okay.
And that will determine what heroic injury you suffer.
4.
So a 4, which is a leg wound. So you're going to be limited to 1 movement action per turn or per round.
Okay.
And so you'll find you've been shot in the leg.
Yeah. And because I've received an injury, I need to roll my resolve.
Resolve.
Because of Blood
So
of the Highlands.
What is your resolve?
3.
So you're going to roll 3 d10s.
Okay.
And if any of them is a 7 or higher, normally it'd be if any of them is a 7 or higher, then you do not go berserk. But because of your hot-blooded, you actually need 8s or higher.
Oh.
So if any of them is an 8 or higher, you don't go berserk.
Okay. Should be interesting. Oh.
Well, he got 2 10s.
There you
so
go.
you're able to keep your calm and not go berserk.
Lucky it was just a leg wound.
I'll tell you, there is also a skill tree that will allow you to choose to go berserk anytime you could. So, and then there's even an opportunity to go berserk whenever you get hit. So whenever you take damage, not just whenever you get down to 0.
Okay.
So you would write down that you have a leg wound, and you have your heroic actions are reduced by 1. So you only have 2 left. And if those reduce down to 0 and you go down to 0, your character is dead.
Got it.
And that would be a real bummer.
But now I'm back to full health.
And yeah, your HP is back up to full.
Okay.
Now the guy that is shooting at you after taking 2 focus actions.
I did dive for cover.
You did. So you're going to be at defensive 4. So he needs to get 5 successes, which is still pretty impressive. And he managed to get 6. So he's doing quite a bit of damage, but you have how much health left?
2.
2. So all the overflow damage is ignored. You take 2 damage, you go down to 0 health, and you take a heroic injury.
All right, so I have to see what heroic injury. A 9.
All right, well, 9, you take a head wound.
And since I have a helmet...
Perfect.
You get to ignore the head wound.
Excellent.
So you're still down the 1 heroic action. It doesn't mean that you didn't get hurt, but it does mean that you aren't at a penalty to all of your marksmanship and intelligence actions until you get medical treatment.
Perfect.
So...
As I knock the helmet.
Yeah, ring your bell. Well, that's their actions. They spent 2 actions aiming and the last action's firing. So Ravamana wants to come in and play, but Ravamana has a leg wound. So all she can do is 1 movement action to step here. And maybe she starts intimidating them. She's going to try and list all the different meals she can make of them, something like that. And so making that check, that's every dice is a success.
Wow.
And at least, that's another success. Okay, so Bravamana starts shouting obscenities about them and all the things she's going to cook them with. And they immediately, they'll throw down their arms and they'll surrender to you guys. And we'll consider that a successful combat conflict.
Nice. But no head wound to show for it.
No head wound to show for it. You'll be able to go back to your airship and go back to your medic and take care of any of those wounds, the leg wounds yourself and Ravamana sustained.
Yeah.
And so in a full scale scenario, you'll have 2 prisoners you could interrogate, and you can start getting into furthering investigation or further the story along, whatever it might need to be.
All right. Yeah. I like the exploding dice.
It gives the opportunity. There's a chance of success in no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. The other thing is keeping track of the attempts that you made.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Any action we do that requires
anytime you make an attempt or dice roll, an action, you're going to be marking that down. So
success or not.
Yeah, success or not.
Okay, so I should have done 2.
I made 3 attempts.
And so when the number of attempts is equal to twice the next rank in a skill, the skill will level up and the attempts will reset.
Gotcha. So with a 3 in marksmanship, twice 4 is 8.
Yeah,
so once I attempt it 8 times. 8
shots. Once you've made 8 shots, your skill will go up to rank 4.
Okay.
Gonna go on journeys and just fire from the
right. Just
fire from the airship.
Well, and so that's when we get into character progression, which is after a contract, you'll actually kind of get to see how you can do just that. You go training.
Right.
For your marksmanship.
Just go shoot squirrels.
Yeah, and you can start leveling it up outside of combat.
Shoot squirrels, that's how I got to a level 3.
Oh, rats aren't that much bigger, right?
So that kind of wraps up combat conflicts, and I wanted to touch a little bit back on to social conflicts. So let's take a look at, for example, you guys interrogating one of your surviving prisoners. In a social conflict, every character, every NPC has a series of basically obstacles that you have to discover and navigate through. So, for example, these guys, they may have one of their obstacles may be that they were paid. It might just be money. They were paid to stop you guys. So if you guys can find a way socially to kind of tick off that box, either through role playing, that you might be able to automatically tick it off by what you said, or you will make your check, like try and convince them, is it really worth dying? If you die, you can't get paid. So by making some of those attempts, you will you will be able to tick off that box. And once every box of obstacles has been ticked off, they become compliant, and they will answer any questions. They will, be completely willing to do what you ask them to an extent.
Gotcha.
And so in a social situation, failing a social check doesn't necessarily automatically mean they're done, but it will start tallying against you and adding obstacles to it, and eventually lock them down as you're not getting any more out of them. They're just not intimidated by you. They're not going to be tricked by you at all. They're not saying anything.
Well, I definitely don't think I am charming or intimidating anybody.
Yeah, well, I already I mentioned that also Jo has no charm, so she would only be able to rely on intimidation.
But she can do that so well.
Oh, yeah. I imagine them, if they told us, we were just paid. And she's kind of looking at her mace, not even making eye contact. The funny thing about gold is it's hard to spend when you're dead. And she swings her mace down just to show the power of that.
Well, let's see a dice roll. Let's see. So how many dice do you roll for Intimidate?
That would be my strength 4 plus 2. So 6 total. Am I looking for 7 or higher?
So normally you'd be looking for 7s or higher.
Yeah.
But we have several factors here that at the GM's discretion would also affect this. Number one is they already failed an Intimidate check from Ravamana and they surrendered. So they're going to be at you're going to be at advantage for this. On top of that, they just witnessed the brutal massacre of all their other allies. So there's just going to be one level of advantage here, but that means you're looking for 6s or higher.
Right. So then I have 3 successes, including 1 10. So I'll reroll and go another 10.
So you roll another one.
Ooh, that's what it's exploding. And another 10.
Yes, let's go for it. Woo. Roll another one.
You'll get a lottery ticket after this. And it's,
okay. It ends at 5.
So still 5 successes.
So that will far surpass his meager resolve, and he becomes an absolute puddle of information, willing to just tell you anything he knows. So you'll see with a success like that, you would break through, potentially multiple, depending on how many times you surpass his resolve. You'll be able to break through even multiple tiers of obstacles socially. So he's putty in your hands. You can get him to do anything you want.
By the time he starts talking about childhood trauma, she said, okay, that's enough.
It's a scene from the Goonies, right?
Right, exactly. All right. Well, that wraps up conflicts nicely. There's obviously so much more to dive into than we could show in one video.
For me, this is kind of going over the nuts and bolts, right?
Exactly.
But the real cool factor of this is the world that is built. This Freelancer world where there are airships in a World War I era, and there are there were, weren't there? Dirigibles, I guess.
Right.
But the races and the species that there are, the fact that I'm a mouse with a rifle. I just like it.
I think whenever I play an RPG, I always actually start with the backstory first and then choose races and, when necessary, classes to match it. But I think by removing that class, and anybody can choose whatever ability, it allowed me more flexibility to choose the skills and abilities that matched my backstory rather than being pigeonholed into, specific combinations that tend to go with certain species.
As a mouse, I had a +1 to my. Oh no, it was my virtue. Gave me that +1 to intelligence that I just threw away and brought back. So I like that ability that it doesn't matter what your species is, what you're doing. You just get to choose where to put things. That's really nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. And look forward to playing more with you guys at a later date.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for running and coming in and showing us this system.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.